Going from the history of gyms to the modernity of gyms, and I'm delighted to say we have gym owner and Dublin footballer Philly McMahon with us. Philly, good morning to you. How are you getting on?
Good morning, Jer. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, not too bad.
We heard Paul Rouse there talking about the history of gyms. What is the modern situation like for somebody who is a gym owner who spent a long time building up a business? How are you guys getting through this?
Well, I suppose I started my business about 10 or 11 years ago in an attic space in the GAA club, and we've developed a community over that duration, and I suppose what's coming back to us now is, how well we've treated our customers over those years, and they're coming back and supporting us now when we need to. So we've switched everybody onto an online app. Not everybody is into that in terms of technology, but a huge percentage of those have jumped onto it, and we're doing kind of live workouts, and we're doing Zoom workouts, because that's the huge part that is missing when it comes to giving a service to these members, is the connection piece.
That's the thing, isn't it? A lot of people actually find it much easier to get motivated if they're in the same room with somebody, or if they do have somebody who's actually giving them a program. And we're all going to have to learn new ways of connecting with people. It's just the same with family members who you can't see at the moment, like finding new ways of being yourself through technology.
Yeah, like I suppose the gyms, what kind of role do they play in this epidemic? I'm definitely not going to come on here and talk like a health specialist in terms of, giving guidelines. There's so much of that information already out there, but we do know that gyms seriously have an impact on depression, anxiety, people's physical health, and the important thing is we need to ask the question then is what's coming after this, because we are in a tricky situation where, we've got this epidemic before an epidemic. We've got the mental health situation, and that's not going to get any better, because we do know we've got these influencing, areas that have a huge impact on people's mental health. One of those being loneliness, or maybe, lack of connection, or autonomy, being told what to do, being contained. And I suppose we can all kind of point the finger at the political world and say, yeah, let's shut the place down. But for me, we've been sending mixed messages before this, and it's probably crossed over to it now, where we're saying, to impact mental health, we need more connection. Now we're saying we need not to connect physically, but we need to find ways to connect in other ways, I suppose, finding your bubble, finding your tribe, so that you can basically use that as an opportunity to help your mental health.
Do you think that in a weird way this actually presents a bit of an opportunity for us to explore ways to do that in a way that makes sense, and in a way that actually can be impactful on people's mental health? Because for the first time, and we've noticed this, we've started by asking people, how's your head? And it's just an opening question where we actually ask people. And previously, Irish men would have been like, grand, I'm grand. But now we're actually all in a situation where it's like, well, you know what, I had a bit of a bad Saturday, to be honest. I found it a bit difficult to deal with this and this. There's an honesty of communication that we're getting to at the moment, Philly, is the point I'm trying to make, that you hope at the end of this we continue with.
Yeah, that's I suppose that's the angle that I'm trying to think of. Or create in my own head is the alternative thinking. We do know that there's nine kind of contributors to mental health, especially depression and anxiety, and 7 of them are social. So what if we can come up with actionable ways to impact our mental health? We can definitely continue this after, at the end of obviously all of this, and I think that's the key opportunity, that if we can get young people, or people that maybe, let's say, that we've seen on social media congregating because of the weather and getting the opportunity to socialise with each other, and we can use that opportunity of starting to develop, a bit of meaning and purpose of who we are as Irish people, and that we ask the question to ourselves of, what did you do when the coronavirus or the COVID-19 epidemic hit the country? What did you do in 5 or 10 years' time? And the response is that You know, I developed a meaning in life, a purpose around being Irish. I developed my Irish identity by being a leader and influencing other people, and that's actually how we can, you know, impact our psychological needs. So going after meaning, going after purpose, going after a sense of belonging, and making sure that, you know, we have certainty of a future, because uncertainty can actually have a huge impact on our mental health. So what I would love to see is our government looking at opportunities around, you know, those four key things: sense of belonging, developing a meaning and purpose within people, within our, and that will happen. You know, we're already getting a little bit of sense of it. We're getting a sense that I've never seen in the political world, where people are saying, "Jesus, you know, it's great to see our politicians showing leadership." So we're getting a little bit of that, but can we develop something that continues on? If you look at, I'm involved in Gaisce, the President's Award, and they've now adapted to a thing called Gaisce Awalia, which is basically Gaisce at home. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could reach out to our young people in our communities and got them to do a 13-week program around impacting the three pillars in Gaisce, which is basically, you know, developing something in your community, developing a skill, or, you know, doing a physical activity. Like, if I seen kids in my community doing that and sticking to the guidelines that the HSE have given us, I'll give them a gym membership in my gym for the rest of the year once this blows over. And I would love to see other companies jump on and say, do you know what? These kids are, you know, these young people are, and I don't want to go on about just young people, older people as well, elderly people that we need to support, the vulnerable people, all the people that we want to target in this in this epidemic. But look at that as an opportunity to help those people and give them some sort of reward for you know, being leaders in their communities.
You said there were four pillars. Sorry, could you go through them again just to make sure that we get them all? The sense of belonging. What were the other three?
So meaning and purpose in life. People seeing that you have seen you as a valuable person in your community. So by acting as a leader, and then having certainty as a future. So not going through life or going through this period of uncertainty, which is a very worrying, and, you know, it's happening to a lot of us. We're thinking about who in our family members, our friends, our communities can be affected by this. Some people aren't thinking that way, but ultimately we need to be thinking of those four things, because the outcome can be, you know, very positive. We can become an unbelievable nation based off that. Not only did we, you know, look at the physical issues that this COVID-19 problem brought, and we have the medical and the political world dealing with that, and us on the, you know, we talk about the medical people, you know, on the front line. I think there's two front lines. You know, we're on the front line as well, and the more we impact the front line by doing what we're told, obviously the better impact we have for the second front line, which is the medical world.
Yeah, and in fairness, the medical people are saying that, like, they're treating what we end up causing, and so we are officially their front line, and we're doing it for them by staying at home when we're supposed to be staying at home. It's interesting you're talking about young people like that, Philly, because mostly the narrative about young people has been they're feckless, they're having parties, they're gathering, they're spreading, they're, like, literally there are coronavirus parties on in the States. There was those pictures from spring break, and actually it might be better if we did kind of try somehow to engage with a generation who will be the least affected by this on the face of it, but who ultimately are going to have the future of our economy, like their ability to find jobs, their ability to travel the world is going to be massively impacted. So getting buy-in from them now and inspiring them through whatever program is available would actually be the right thing for us as a society to do too, right?
Well, I just think giving them another opportunity, you know. I'll give you an example. I see there's outdoor cinemas now. I think that's brilliant for adults to go and to socialise by doing that. Obviously, you know, you're in a car, you're sticking to the guidelines, you're in your own bubble with maybe your partner or your kids in the car. I think that's a great example. you know, nobody. The reason why we have prisons in this country, Jerry, is because it's a punishment to take someone's liberty away. And you know, when we try to contain people, it actually has, I would say, a counterproductive measure in that people want to get out of home. They want to get out and socialise. And I think the government has done something really smartly there, whereas other countries have just went, let's lock down. I think our country has done it smartly. So, you know, when we think back as younger people, when we were kids, what would we have done? And I suppose that's what I'm saying. How do we get to these people, these kids? You know, we can't just keep pointing the finger at them and saying they're stupid, you know, they haven't got common sense or whatever. Like, we got to give them opportunity. We got to give them something to do. We got to look at what do kids actually like doing? How can we get them to engage in the community? Because, as I said, after this, they can continue this leadership on. They can influence their peers. They can continue it on. So I think that's key.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry, Owen.
Philly, I was just wondering if you've actually found any answers for that in terms of helping young people to buy in. Is there anything that you found might work, that even through your own business, that has helped people that wouldn't ordinarily buy in to buy in?
Well, I think that it's very diverse, because I think every community should look at developing you know, a small focus group of young people and asking them what they like, what their hobbies are, what can we kind of impact them in terms of activities and actions, and then go after that. Like, I don't have one answer for it, but I certainly think if we can look at the Gaisce and the 3 pillars they have, you know, if we can feed into them by developing actions, which is basically community development, doing something around community development, doing an activity that's physical, has a physical base to it, or personal growth and development. So looking at them 3 things, if we could go after feeding into them things and looking at, like, I guarantee you, if you had, let's say, a 13-week program, and at the end of that 13-week, the ultimate thing is you're going to get an award, but also you're going to be recognised by your community that, you know, you have done something to impact the other people in your community. I think that sense of belonging, that you're part of the community, that you're valued, and the impact of social media. Like, everything is going viral now because there's so many people on social media, and I think that's for me, that for young people should be intriguing, that they would get a buzz out of saying, Jesus, when I done that activity, you know, people spoke really positively about me on social media. And that's why I went off and done it.
We could throw a party at the end of it as well. Like, when this is all over, we could have a giant Gaisce party. Maybe Michael D would open the doors of, or maybe it could be somewhere completely different, and we could get some music, we could get some cultural people, we could get some sports people to come and just do talks, have an event, like to celebrate those people who did actually make it out the other side and who stuck with it, because it's keeping the motivation going. And it goes back to that point about people in the gym. You need someone sometimes to be going on the same journey with you and to say, this is difficult and this is taking a bit more effort than I thought it was going to be, but it's worth it. Like, having a teammate through all this would actually be hugely important and beneficial too.
Oh, definitely. And that's the trick behind it. It's peer guidance. You know, it's having somebody that people will look up to, and then the people that look up to that leader become emerging leaders. And it's a knock-on effect, and people look at that and go, oh, right, that guy has done that now, I'm going to do a bit of that. And it just completely has a mushroom effect within the community. So, and I think it can really spread out to all ages in the community. And I think it can be in all social classes, regardless of what your background is. We can all do something to help somebody in this situation.
Yeah, it's true. Look, the virus obviously is hitting everybody, and I think the penny hasn't dropped with a load of people, but we're probably getting to a point where most people are beginning to fully understand it. Philly, I did say we're asking everybody, how's the head? It's like a question I didn't ask you at the start of this, but how is the head? How are you getting on?
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't had too much time to think. Unfortunately, we had to uh, make all our staff redundant from last Monday, myself included. So I'm just trying to look at ways of covering bills, I suppose, in terms of the business. And um, I've been busy, I've been focused. And on the other hand, the opportunity is I've been able to spend a lot more time with my wife, which I normally wouldn't because of football. So that's been really good. We've been able to get out and do stuff together. So yeah, I suppose it's mixed. It's mixed emotions. I've got a bit of worry around family members who maybe could be high risks. But I'm trying to deal with what I have presently, and most importantly, look alternatively of what I can be doing to help people, or what can I, as I said, when I look back in 5 years, 10 years, that I'm proud and I've done something that within my community, if it's a small thing, to help our my country.
And was there anything from the government yesterday that would actually have been a specific measure that might help a small business owner like you?
Yeah, I think the support for the staff, first of all, that's the key thing. My priority is making sure that my staff are looked after. So that was my first worry, I suppose. Some of them have young families, so it was great to hear the increase of the 208 up to the I think it was 308 or 350 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously so that was key for me. And then last week, the information around the bank in terms of landlords and rent freezes, I think that was a bit more positive for me as well. So I think, as I said, we've had a drop in membership of around 30%. So we've kept 70% of our clients, which is incredible.
Yeah, they're obviously doing that because of the service and the quality of service they got for you. You tweeted that last week. If you can please support your local gym, even when closed, they've made an impact on society's mental and physical health. It took me years to develop a community in my gym. The fitness industry will be needed on the other side of this, and that is absolutely true. You can see the knock-on impact. We had Andy Dunn on yesterday talking about the physiological impact that exercise has on you. It makes you feel good. It's like it's not a psychosomatic thing. It's not a psychological thing. It's like physically, it releases hormones and serotonin. Have you thought once about football in the middle of all this? Is that something there that's in the background, or are you completely consumed by everything else that's happening?
Yeah, you have it in the back of your head. You're thinking to stay fit and healthy, but it's certainly, it puts sport in perspective, in that there's so many people that are suffering now from this. The poor families of the 7 people that have passed away. So sport doesn't really, top the table when it comes to when you're thinking about things like that and your own loved ones. But certainly in the back of my mind, I'm trying to stay fit and healthy, and I'm very lucky to be in an industry where I'm doing some fitness classes with clients that's keeping me on top of things. And you miss it as well. Obviously, you miss the lads, you miss the change room. But yeah, look, it's sport at the end of the day. It's secondary compared to people's health.
Yeah, it is. And yet at the same time, like we're going to need gyms on the other side of it, we're going to need the opportunity to watch people play, to participate ourselves. Like, I definitely, because we don't have it at the moment, I understand why people miss it so much. And it is one of those things that we volunteer our spare time. We give it up willingly. It's not a job. We don't have to do it. We do it because we love it. And you definitely see the community ties that clubs of all different types of sports and gyms and anywhere where people gather to watch or participate collectively, culture, music, like the fact that you can't just go and there's someone singing in the corner or someone telling jokes, stand up, like all of this stuff. It's the stuff that makes life worthwhile, and we're all desperate to watch some top quality sport. So I think that what you guys do at intercounty football level, at club level, for all the coaches, is massively important for our psychological well-being when we come out the far side of this too.
Well, even if you look at the stuff that's been going on in social media, from the point of view of sports people doing videos with kind of little competitions and getting younger kids. Like Kieran Kilkenny is a great example. He's been doing a skills challenge every couple of days, and the amount of young kids and adults jumping on and that connection piece, it just shows you how powerful sport is and how much we need it. But the great thing is those young kids now are actually reaching out to sporting people that they normally see on TV. And these sporting people now are reaching back out. So there's a young kid, I don't know if you've seen in his back garden doing goalkeeping training, and Peter Schmeichel reached out. That's the special and opportunity, the special thing about technology and social media, that now people have the time to reach back to these young kids, and that's going to have a massive impact on those kids and what they do and the choices they make in terms of what they're going to be doing in their sporting careers. So I think it's so powerful, and it's only when something happens like this, when you miss it, you really, really, see the power in it.
Yeah, Philly, we had Nathan on yesterday, actually. He's a great kid, and he's going to get to go. He's a Leeds fan, funnily enough, which is bizarre for somebody under the age of 40 at this stage. But Leeds reached out to him yesterday, and they're going to put on a training session for him whenever all this is over too. So like that, our lives are all going to change in loads of different ways into the future. But we wish you, as a business person, the very best of luck. And for all the staff, we really hope that the measures that the government brought in yesterday are going to work. But just as a community leader as well, Philly, I think it is fairly inspirational listening to you talk about the opportunity that people have here, and if we can help in any way to get that story out or to help organise the party at the end of it or whatever, I think that that's going to be the response from a lot of people who see this, that they want to have conversations and they want to hear what leaders in their community like you are coming up with. And I don't know what the forum for that is. I don't know how to move this forward, but if you have any ideas on that, I think everybody's going to be all ears.
Yeah, well, instead of developing something completely new, I think definitely going after the Gaisce, youth workers, social workers, coaches, parents. I'll put up a link on my social media around the Gaisce. Go after them 3 pillars. Get your kids to do it. It'll be incredible for them in their development throughout their whole life, and the skills, the life skills and the values they'll develop from it will be so key even after this. So I'll put the links up, and I'm reaching out. I'm now for those people who are involved in companies that their niche is young kids from the age of 15, maybe up to the age of 25. If you want to support this and give them something at the end of it, as well as a cert in terms of the President's Award, I'll give memberships out from my gym. Some people could give out, let's say, a clothing company could give them out, tops or runners. I think that's the key thing. How do we get these kids to engage and develop their life skills through developing their community, getting physically active safely, and also then their growth in terms of development.
Yeah, well, we can run online workshops and help people along the way and get that out on our social media channels, and we can target that demographic in particular as well, and hopefully there'll be buy-in from them too. So if nothing else comes out of this, Philly, it's been worthwhile this morning. Thanks a million for taking the time to talk to us.
Stay safe.
Always great to have you with us. You too. That's Philly McMahon there, always brilliant to speak to, and has a view on life that, well, if that hasn't cheered you up this morning, then Jesus, I don't know what will.